Hello and welcome to All Indians Matter. I am Ashraf Engineer. More than a year after violence broke out in Manipur, the state continues to be a flashpoint. Peace remains elusive as tensions persist between the majority Meitei community and the minority Kuki. Worryingly, in the latest cycle of violence that began on September 1, there have been drone and rocket attacks, the first time aerial weapons have been used in the state. The clashes between the predominantly Christian Kuki community and the mostly Hindu Meitei have resulted in several deaths and clashes with security forces. Several curfews and internet suspensions have been imposed. Many observers have said that the state government has failed to protect vulnerable communities or uphold the rule of law. This has only led to the trust deficit between communities and with the government widening. Chief Minister Biren Singh of the Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP has stuck to his party's divisive Hindu majoritarian approach. He claimed without offering evidence that the Kuki are providing sanctuary to illegal migrants from Myanmar and engaging in drug trafficking and militancy. Meanwhile, locals have accused the state government of providing patronage to Meitei vigilante groups. As things stand, since May 2023, more than 200 have been killed and hundreds injured. More than 60,000 have been displaced from their homes and are living in shelters in shocking conditions. There have been several instances of rape, and homes, shops and places of worship have been attacked. The victims have been the Kuki largely. Why is the Indian government unable to find a solution to the ethnic strife?
All Indians matter.
The latest wave of violence began when suspected Kuki militants attacked villages in West Imphal district with drones. On September 6, suspected Kuki militants carried out rocket attacks in Bishnupur district. On September 7, in Jiribam district, 6 people were killed in gun violence between Meitei and Kuki mobs. In Sekmai, a mob beat to death a Kuki man while armed Meitei groups attacked a Central Reserve Police Force camp. The roots of the conflict lie in an April 2023 Manipur High Court ruling granting the majority Meitei benefits, including land ownership in protected areas and quotas in government jobs and college admissions. Tribal communities protested, saying these benefits are normally reserved for tribal groups to correct historical social inequity. These communities, including the Kuki, live primarily in hill areas where the Meitei would now be allowed to purchase land. The protests turned violent on May 3, 2023 with clashes between the Meitei and the Kuki. Human rights activists and others have alleged an abdication of responsibility by the government to protect lives and properties. It has also quite rightly been pointed out that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has not bothered to visit the state or take a stand on it. As far as militarization goes, some estimates say there are between 60,000 and 70,000 troops now stationed in Manipur, yet the conflict rages on. Manipur is no stranger to conflict. The state became part of the Indian Union in 1949 and for decades witnessed ethnic violence and a separatist insurgency. The people have historically been caught in the pincer of armed groups and security forces, both committing human rights abuses. It's a story of the failure of successive state and central governments. Historians and activists have often pointed out that there should have been policies focused on assimilation the moment Manipur joined India. Instead, what we've seen is a widening security presence and lack of sincere political dialogue. This is compounded by the lack of educational facilities and healthcare, few businesses, and no security of life and property. Perhaps the most shocking aspect of it all is the political apathy of New Delhi. It's largely because of that we are seeing the first signs of ethnic cleansing. The Kuki are fleeing the Imphal Valley and there are no Meitei in Kuki areas. Modi seems to have decided that he will visit every country and region in the world except Manipur. Since the start of his third term on June 9, 2024, he has visited Italy, Russia, Austria, Poland, Ukraine, Singapore, the US and even Brunei. He is scheduled to visit Laos, Samoa, Russia, Azerbaijan and Brazil. Home Minister Amit Shah, meanwhile, oversees many aspects of the governance of Manipur, from the appointment of senior officers to the security forces. It is under his watch that the violence has escalated. Chief Minister Biren Singh and his cabinet are unable to even go around the Imphal Valley. He is hated by the Kuki, while the Meitei thought he would ensure their security, but that too didn't happen. Where there is violence, there can be no governance. And of course, there are no peace talks with anyone. There is no arguing against the fact that Manipur is trapped in a web of mistrust. It was never an easy state to handle, and now it has become even tougher. Blame it on the callousness of the union and state governments, both run by the BJP. It's not for nothing that citizen groups are saying there is a lack of a serious peace effort. All we have are calls for armed groups to come to the negotiating table. This is hardly a plan. What's needed is concrete steps to restore normalcy and a long-term roadmap to end ethnic tensions. How many such instances of ethnic strife would you see around the world where peace talks have not been held for over a year? It's up to the central government to put in place confidence-building measures to bring the communities together. The government should take immediate measures to resolve disputes, investigate cases of abuse, and punish those responsible. There's urgent need for redressal of abuse, including for sexual violence, and to prosecute those responsible. Law and order is a state subject, so the Biren Singh government must ensure the protection of all. Humanitarian aid is not making its way to the affected in the way it should be, so local authorities need to remove hindrances and end internet shutdowns. You can't have a situation where the rights to freedom of expression, association, and peaceful assembly are suppressed. Security forces must be made to abide by the United Nations basic principles on the use of force and firearms by law enforcement officials. This means minimum use of force at all times. In case of violent assemblies, firearms may only be used when other less harmful means are not practical, and even then to the minimum extent necessary. Manipur threatens to turn into one of those regions of unending strife, and it will unless urgent action is taken.